look at all those books. I used to have this thing. I don't anymore. Well, let me rephrase. Before COVID, I only bought books that I had read. Now that COVID is a thing and the libraries were closed for a really long time, and I haven't actually been reading my library books anyway, now I don't know how they're going to disinfect the books, so it's kind of freaking me out. I have started buying books because I want them. I think part of this is because I'm now an adult with what we call adult money, and a job where I can choose to spend my money on whatever I want, and I choose to buy books and clothes. And clothes for work and books for fun and video games. Anyone who tells you that being an adult isn't fun is lying. Anyway, all that to say, I have some books that I want to read now, right? Like, if I can grab it. I got really stuck there. I just bought this one from Walmart the other day, because I was there, and I read Runaway by Harlan Cobin, and it was like one of the best books that I read in 2020. My review is on my blog, I'll link it down below, but it smells like a new book. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you know the smell of Scholastic book fairs? Yeah, that's what that smells like. Why does that... I mean, it's a bunch of books, packaged brand new books, but... I got distracted. I digress. Anyway, so I've started buying books that I have not read yet, like this one. I look forward to it. I'm excited about it. One of these days, I'm going to curl up with a hot cocoa and a blanket, hopefully while it's snowing and I don't have to do anything or go anywhere else, and then I'll just read. That would be fantastic. But, I have a lot of books on this shelf that I really, really want to reread. Right? Like, I bought them because I loved them enough to want to keep them forever. Granted, a lot of these books I haven't read because they were gifted to me, and I just haven't gotten to them yet, but this is my TBRR list, right? My to be reread list. TBRA, to be read again list. What do you think should be the acronym for the books that you want to reread? TBRR or TBRA? Vote. Vote now. Go vote. Right now. Okay. Well, you guys decide that. I'm going to start pulling these books off the shelf. Have you voted yet? You should vote. Okay. I want to reread all of the Hunger Games. I remember flying through these books when I was younger. Like, I got them for Christmas, and we went to my grandparents' house, and by the end of the week, I had read all 3 of them. I want to reread them because I bought I bought this one, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I want to know what the I want the context going into it. I want to see how her writing style has changed over the last 10 years. B, I want to just enjoy it. But I also want to reread them all in connection to this one. So I haven't actually read this one yet, but I want to reread all of the Hunger Games before I do read this one. I'm falling off my chair now. Back in the day, I really enjoyed reading The Darkest Minds. I also really enjoyed this one. I remember almost nothing about these books, other than the fact that I read them really quickly. And I think I don't remember anything because I read them really quickly. So, also, can we talk about the fact that their titles make a sentence? The darkest minds never fade in the afterlight. I haven't read this book yet. This was the first one I got of this entire series. Part of the reason I want to reread them is that I can read this book and not be completely lost. As usual, I really want to reread Sinner and Drift. Two of my favorite books, always worth rereading. When I went to college, I told myself I could only bring 2 books with me to college. I brought these books with me to college. Every single year. I always came home with like 10 extra books. And half the time I didn't end up reading them because it's college and I didn't have time to just read for fun. But my mom tried to tell me I wouldn't have time to read books in college outside of like my high school, my homework. And I was like, I do it now. I'll be fine. Yeah, she was right. If your mom tells you that you won't have time to read as much like you do in college when you were in high school, you should probably listen to her. Unless you choose to like not have a social life and or take lower class loads. But if you're taking lower class loads, you should definitely have a social life. Anyway, I brought these 2 books with me to college every single year because it did not feel like home without these books on my bookshelf. I really need to reread all of Percy Jackson. I'm not going to get those down because, well, obvious reasons. That's a lot of them. But I really need to reread, like, everything that Rick Riordan has ever written. Also, I want to reread Harry Potter. All of it. All 7 of them. I have them now. Like, I own them. So, I want to reread them all. I want to reread I Am the Messenger. I really enjoyed that book back in the day. I, loved it. And anybody I've recommended it to since then has really loved it too. And I just want to refresh my memory on that book. I want to reread Narnia and Lord of the Rings. That's going to be a process, though. Reread Narnia pretty recently, like at least 2 years ago. I'm so old. How did this happen? I haven't reread Lord of the Rings as recently, though, so... Or The Hobbit. I should reread The Hobbit first. That'd be good. Again, I own all of these things. I bought them all because I wanted to own them, and I needed to have them in my personal collection. I really want to reread The Princess Bride. That was such a good book. I laughed so hard. And I want to remember all of the little details about Inigo Montoya's backstory because, well, he's Inigo Montoya. I don't need a better reason than that. I want to reread Tamora Pierce's The Immortals Quartet. These ones? Whoop, wrong way. I want to reread these. I remember doing a book report on Wild Magic in, 5th grade. I might have been too young for them then. I remember loving these books. And I want to reread them. I want to reread The Oath by Frank Peretti. I read this one in high school. It's a heck of a book. It's interesting, though. There's a beast and monsters and this oily, goopy contagion. Yeah, I want to reread it. Again, that would be a process, but I think it would be worth it. The only thing I remember is the climactic battle in a graveyard. And that's even assuming I remember that correctly. I want to reread Tom Sawyer. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It'd be fun. What I'm realizing as I go through this list is that I really just want to go back to all of the books that made me love reading and all of the stories that made high school and middle school and elementary school so fun. And I wonder if rereading them as an adult would still make me like them. Like, if I would still like them. I want to reread Divergent. I want to relive what it was to be in the middle of that fad. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to replicate that feeling. And I don't know if that still happens. I feel like I'm so out of the loop. If you're a young booktuber and you're like still in high school and you know what's current, please tell me, because I want to stay current. I just like feel so out of the loop. I've felt so out of the loop since I graduated high school. Mostly because that was like how I knew what was in, right? Like what everybody else was reading in high school was what was going on and what was exciting. So like I want to, part of the reason that I want to reread these books is because I either want to finish the series and I want everything to be fresh, or because I miss the feelings that went along with that part of my life. But really, when you're rereading a book, are you not just engaging in the same feelings that you felt the first time you read it? It's like a controlled microcosm of emotion and sentimental interaction. A little window that you can open whenever you want to feel those things again. And that's really cool. What books do you want to reread? What's on your TBRR or TBRA list? Seriously though, we need an acronym for this. Let's like make this a thing so that people can have a way to describe it, because that was too, maybe there is a way to describe it, and again, I'm just out of the loop. But let's get me in the loop on everything. Okay? Cool. Until next time, I will see you then. If you're looking for something new to read, and you don't want to like go back and reread things, but you also don't want to have the commitment of reading an entire novel, because I know it's a lot. I have short stories that I post every month on my blog. Occasionally I read them out loud here. You can go find that playlist. I'll put it somewhere around here. I also have a merch shop, which is pretty cool. December. It's December now, isn't it? I'm going to put new merch up really soon. So go check it out now and then check it out again in like a second. And hopefully there's snow outside and cozy blankets and hot chocolate that you can pick up while you reread whatever books you want to reread, and or just settle in with some of my short stories and scroll through my blog. There's a link down below. And until next time, I will see you then. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane, my little nostalgia moment, and I will see you next time. Bye!